Hello, everyone. I'm Judith Peterson, CMO of Cerulean Sky. Welcome to this session of What I Learned the Hard Way. Today, we are sitting with a very seasoned financial services marketing leader who I admire, Bonnie Habyan. She's also an author. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you so much for allowing me to give a little wisdom today.
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to, I'm actually curious to hear your answer, but because again, I have witnessed how you surrender to things, and so I'm really curious what your answer to the question, what have you learned the hard way, Bonnie?
I would say the one thing that has served me best most recently that I've learned the hard way is to really always try to find the opportunity in a really bad situation. There are times through your career that you may come across something that paralyzes you or scares you, and you're so reactive at the time that you don't have a moment to stop and say, well, wait a minute, I know this is bad. It's going to eventually get better. So why don't I try and, pick a little nugget out to when I get on the other side, and things start to straighten out a little bit, that I've come away with something that's going to now help me in the future. So I would say that is probably the most important thing that I've learned during my career, but it took me a long time to learn that and to practice that.
Well, so why don't you give us an example where this has happened? You kind of maybe caught yourself and recalibrated?
Sure. I think COVID is a great example. I think about every year as a senior manager, how you have to go and confirm and review business continuity plans and what you'll do in the middle of a crisis. And thank goodness most of us have never had to use them, right? You just kind of check the box to say, yeah, this looks good. And then when something really happens, you have to really put, your feet to the fire and go through it. And I think being flexible and adaptable and saying, okay, I know this is bad. We've never done this before, but we're going to kind of make some good things happen. I can give you a couple of examples. One was that our company was just starting to roll out Teams. Something would be similar to a Slack or a tool that you can share communication very quickly. No one was really adopting it, very quickly. But when this the virus came, my team jumped in, created training materials, helped to support the IT team to get the message out and to market it internally. And within 2 weeks, we had 100% usage because the environment certainly supported that, but the event of COVID made it accelerate, through the roof, that it became an invaluable tool. That may have taken us 2 or 3 years to adopt to. Same thing with LinkedIn. Before, perhaps maybe our company used it a little bit here and there, but then you start realizing from a content perspective just how valuable LinkedIn is. It's like a TV for professionals, and to see that kind of ramp up and people start to put their eyes on LinkedIn so much more, and then use that as an avenue to help brand your company in a unique and differentiating way. That was another silver lining or opportunity, I would say, that came forth due to something very adverse.
Yeah, I think engagement in general, so much of marketing because of the pandemic, engagement has changed. People are saturated. And as marketers, we have to figure out a way to go to market in a way that is compelling, presuming that people are saturated. I think there's a lesson for all of us that I always say, just because you're talking doesn't mean someone's listening. So sharpening that skill.
I think you're right. It makes you know your target market and your client more, because you need to understand what's going to resonate with them before you put out a lot of things and you hope it sticks. But then you start saying, there's so much out there. I need to figure out how I'm going to communicate on a higher level and really resonate with my target audience so that they still look at me and say, okay, they've got it together, right? As opposed to putting out a million things at once and just praying that maybe something catches their eye. So I think it has made us sharpen our pencil tremendously. And that's the good thing that comes out on the adverse, you go through an adversity, but you become stronger marketers because of it, right?
And evolve, to your point. So,
absolutely.
So that leads me to another question, which is, how would you right size this lesson for someone who's starting out their career in financial services?
Yeah, there's a couple of parts to that I would say are very important. I say for someone just starting out, learn as much as you can. about everything within your department and your organization. And try to do one thing every day that makes you uncomfortable or scares you. Because if you don't push through that fear, you're not going to change. And if you don't push yourself to change and to pull that knowledge along with you, when a crisis or something very adverse pops up, you're not going to be able to have the skills you need to not look at, to instead of looking at something very reactively, to say, okay, I'm going to fix this, and I'm also going to pull something across the finish line to take with me so that I can come up about this entire situation a stronger employee, a stronger leader, a stronger professional.
That's amazing, Bonnie. I will end there, but as always, a total pleasure. I really appreciate you being and sharing your wisdom.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Have a great 2021, everyone.